Today's topic, we're going to be talking about Shannon Sharpe and his contract. Still no word on what's going on with Shannon Sharpe and Fox Sports 1. He hasn't signed a long-term extension to Fox Sports 1. Before I get into this, I'm going to let you guys know straight off the rip, this is going to be a long video because I have researched this and I have my own thought and perspective behind what's going on between Shannon Sharpe and Fox Sports 1. So, without further ado, let's get into it. So, here we are, August the 23rd. Shannon Sharpe's contract ended at the end of July, and there's no news on have Shannon Sharpe signed a long-term extension at Fox Sports 1. Now, there's a lot of insiders, and I have researched this as well, that are speculating that Shannon Sharpe and his agent wants a contract similar to Skip Bayless. They want, in other words, making the same type of money or close to the same type of money Skip Bayless is making, because Skip Bayless have signed his contract to Fox Sports 1, and it was quite easily because Fox Sports 1 wanted Skip Bayless. Particularly when Skip Bayless was technically a free agent, ESPN was pulling almost all the stops to reunite him with Stephen A. Smith. And I felt like the money was there, but I felt like the real reason why Skip Bayless did not accept that deal is because he has an understanding with Fox Sports 1. And also, he's much older. He doesn't want to do all that traveling. Even ESPN was going to say, look, you can still do Undisputed. You can still work for Fox Sports 1. We just wanted you to do ESPN Plus with Stephen A. Smith. But I felt like that would have ultimately evolved into Skip Bayless also doing First Take. And if he would have done first, it would have, if ultimately they wanted him to go back to working with Stephen A. Smith doing First Take. And they probably already had in the plan of getting rid of Max. Last week, Max Kellerman is no longer going to be a host at First Take. He's still going to be working at ESPN. And I feel like all of these things happen for a reason. And all these things are tied to one thing. That was their long-term goal, hopefully getting him back to First Take. But things did not work out right because I feel like Skip Bayless has an understanding with Fox Sports 1. Undisputed is his baby. It's really his show, even though he's very modest and say, well, it's also Shannon Sharpe's show. It's also Jenny Taft's show. He's very modest, but low-key, it's his show. So that's the reason behind that. And he chose, and because Fox Sports 1 wanted Skip Bayless. Now, as far as Shannon Sharpe goes, Fox Sports 1 do have an interest in Shannon Sharpe. Remember now, Skip Bayless handpicked him. He wanted to debate with Shannon Sharpe. And he was the one that was pushing for Shannon Sharpe. Now, over the course of ever since Undisputed started, you can tell there has been shows that, there have been strain in their type of relationship, particularly with the LeBron comments. And you've seen them taking personal jabs at one another. But at the end of the day, I just feel like all fair in love and war. I really think if people start really focusing on Shannon Sharpe and Skip Bayless, the relationship isn't as strong as it once was when they first started the show. A lot of people were giving Undisputed high praise after the first show of Undisputed. And a lot of people say, well, this is going to take over First Take. And people are going to forget about First Take. And I remember making a video and I was telling you guys, ESPN is in more markets than Fox Sports 1. So there's going to be times where Undisputed is going to be the number one show at that particular time. But eventually, as time moves on, slowly but surely, and like it's already been proven when you look at the ratings, not recently, but in the past, when people were making those speculations, ESPN and First Take was still crushing them, still was beating them in the ratings. So, even though they have a couple of months where they have taken over the ratings and been better than First Take, collectively overall, ESPN has been doing well in the ratings. Now, when the pandemic started, and I also made a video about this last week, slowly but surely, sports entertainment became a niche type of market, a niche type of entertainment. And I feel like it got into that space because of two folds. One, the pandemic, sports entertainment couldn't move like it normally moved. When you talk about their venues, they had, with this COVID nightmare, the debacle, you can't have a lot of people in a jam-packed stadium because of the guidelines. And a lot of leagues suffered during the pandemic. And I feel like those leagues that have suffered was already experiencing some type of loss even before the pandemic. The woke movement, I feel like the woke movement has scared or ticked off a lot of fans who go to these sporting events, pay for these sporting events, and they just got tired of seeing Black Lives Matter and the woke movement. You saw journalists, promoting the woke movement. A lot of athletes, current and former athletes, promoting this, and that really rubbed a lot of fans the wrong way. And you started seeing a downcline in a lot of leagues, such as the NFL, the NBA. And what compounded that and made it even worse was the pandemic. You started seeing a lot of networks starting to ask their colleagues to take pay cuts. ESPN isn't the only network that was asking a lot of their analysts to take pay cuts. Fox Sports 1 was also asking a lot of their colleagues to take pay cuts as well. But Skip Bayless signed his contract even before all of that happening. Skip Bayless signed his contract when sports entertainment was popping. Okay? Now, not so much. And now a lot of these networks are penny pinching. All right? And they're also low-key getting rid of a lot of these analysts, a lot of these former and current athletes who are under their payrolls that's promoting the woke movement, getting them away from their network because it's hurting their bottom line. And I feel like it's that, sports entertainment is an oversaturated market, and it's just not the king of the hill anymore. A lot of people have gravitated their time, resources, and money on other things, believe it or not. So now you can debate whether or not were these real fans. Are they day one fans? Or are they just bandwagoners that bought all the merch from whatever team that is winning and only watch the more popular games instead of watching the whole season? That's left for discussion. That's left for argument. If you guys want to debate that, you can just comment in the comment section how you feel on that. I'm just telling you guys, during the pandemic, and we're still in the pandemic, and the possibility of cities locking down is still on the horizon. People are, if you've been watching the news, people are, the emergency rooms are getting full. People are catching COVID. Even people that took the shots have a possibility of catching it as well. And I don't want to make this video any longer on why things are the way they are, but it's having a negative impact once again on sports entertainment. And a lot of these networks are, are preparing for the worst. They're preparing for maybe some teams there may be some leagues that's going to shut down and lockdown. Okay, so back to how all of this matters for Shannon Sharpe. Shannon Sharpe's contract ended at the end of July, and during that time, after July, you have seen FX1 make a lot of changing with their programming. Undisputed not airing on days. Now, a lot of people are saying they're taking a vacation, they're taking their summer break. If you want to put it that way, that's fine. But if you've been noticing that, and also been noticing the deterioration of their relationship is not as solid as it once was when they started Undisputed. And if you've been paying attention to Skip Bayless, he's been doing some interviews. I feel like this tandem may be over. And I also feel like, and I'm also going to be the one that's going to go ahead and say this. And who knows? Shannon Sharpe could be signing a contract today. And all the stuff I'm saying right now could be null and void. All right? But I feel like, and with sports entertainment, just like any other entertainment, it's a copycat league. And if you've been noticing what ESPN has been doing, they moved Max off of First Take. And now it's just Stephen A. Smith and Molly over there. And they're going to have a different guest every day to debate Stephen A. And a lot of them shows are maybe going to be hit and misses. But I feel like the ratings are going to be a lot better depending on what guest you're going to have. You might have a celebrity. You might have a current athlete. You might have an ex-athlete. You may have a politician. You may have anybody from any walk of life debating Stephen A. Smith. And I remember them doing a concert 3 or 4 years ago, where in the contest, I said contest, you get to win a one-on-one debate with Stephen A. Smith, and this thing just blew up. A lot of people, put their name in the hat to be one of those ones to debate Stephen A. Smith, and that did so well. That was hugely popular on social media. And if you look at what ESPN is doing, they're going to go back to that old format. Now, they might look around and find a permanent guest during all of these discussions. But I feel like at the end of the day, this is where ESPN is looking at. And it's not going to cost them a lot of money. They don't have to pay 2 stars close to the same amount of money to have a show. You can have one big star, pay him a lot of money, which is Stephen A. Smith, and just pair him up with somebody each and every day. And I feel like Fox Sports 1 is copycatting what ESPN is doing. They're saying, whoa, wait a minute. Instead of trying to sign Shannon Sharpe to close to the same money Skip Bayless is making, why don't we would love to keep him. And if he wants to make less than what Stephen A. Smith what Skip Bayless is making, fine, we'll keep him. But if he doesn't want to bargain that way, he can still make some he can still work for us, but just doing other things. Now, I feel like Shannon Sharpe is going to say thanks but no thanks, and he's going to probably go independent like Jason Whitlock. Remember, Jason Whitlock went to Fox Sports 1 a couple of years ago, asked for a buku of money. Fox Sports 1 said thanks but no thanks, and Jason Whitlock is now independent. Okay, he has his own YouTube channel and does his own podcast, yada yada yada. Okay, and I feel like Shannon Sharpe is that same type of individual. He's been promoting Club Shay Shay, and I have been seeing a lot of content on Club Shay Shay in the past couple of weeks. Normally he just uploads one or two videos a week. He's been pumping and cranking videos on Club Shay Shay, and that's another indication to me that Shannon Sharpe is no longer going to be at Fox Sports 1. I feel like Shannon Sharpe is saying, look, I'm not gonna accept if I can't make what Skip Bayless is making. And I feel like after Googling this and researching this and listening to all the insiders, Shannon Sharpe feels like he's just as equal as Skip Bayless. And he feels like he should get more. I mean, he should be making the same amount as Skip Bayless. But Fox Sports 1 is being tight on the pocketbook, and they just simply can't afford two guys making that type of money. Now, ESPN, who has Disney, Disney owns ESPN, they could have easily said yes and gave ESPN a blank check and said, whatever it takes to get Skip Bayless here, whatever amount it's going to be, just put it down there. But those days are behind them, okay? Because the more and more I see it, sports entertainment is starting to be a smaller niche type of activity. Not, in other words, if the fans are not going to come in and buy, it's one thing to support these leagues and support sports entertainment, but if you're not going to buy into it, buy into their streaming packages, buy into their pay-per-views, buy into their cable and satellite packages, buy into satellite radio, then why even do it? Now, the advancement of technology and social media, a lot of people have cut their satellite and cable bills and say, why I'm paying this type of money for a satellite and cable bill when I can just watch it on YouTube for free, and somebody would already edit and cut it the good parts I want to listen to. I don't have to listen to the whole show. Or I can just listen to the podcast. I can just listen to the show on a podcast format. All right. So the convenience of listening to these shows have changed 20 years ago. 20 years ago, people would actually pay for their satellite and cable packages and record these shows. And when they come from work, they just watch them later on that evening. Okay, or just watch the re-air of it on ESPN or Fox Sports 1. Now, with it being so convenient, and you just go skip to the parts that are good, it's more convenient to look at it that way. But it's convenient, but it's also hurting and affecting the brand. The brand isn't as strong as it once was. All right, so ESPN, Fox Sports 1 look at these numbers, and they look at these numbers and they look at the money, and they're going like, whoa, wait a minute. If it doesn't make dollars, it won't make sense to us. So why have two guys making a lot of money? All right, when we can just go in on one guy, and if push comes to shove, that one guy is going to have a different guest each and every day. Okay, now Jenny Kraft, I feel like her days are numbered as well. Now, if you remember, Jenny and Skip had a little debate. Skip was talking about a coach, and I forgot the coach name, and I forgot the coach, but he was talking about his physique, his shape. He's not the most fit coach. He's an overweight coach. And him and Jenny was going back and forth. And then when Jenny made the comment, well, it's my show too. I get to say something too. And you can clearly see Skip Bayless shaking his head going, no. Not to say that she doesn't have a right to an opinion. Not to say that she can't debate. But when she made the comment, it was her show. Skip said no. And that just let me believe that low key, this has been in the works for the past couple of years. That even though on the outside to all of us, it's all their shows, and Skip make it sound like it's all their shows, but low key behind the scenes, I feel like Skip Bayless is it's his show. And there's a reason why he turned down that money at ESPN. He could have made a ton of money at ESPN. Him and Stephen A could have been guests. They could have been the host of Monday Night Football, the NBA Finals, UFC, boxing events, all types of sporting events. They was going to package these guys in on every major sporting event at ESPN. But I felt like the sticking point on why he didn't go back to ESPN is the traveling. It had nothing to do with money. And they was going to allow him to travel and do Undisputed. All right? I feel like that's why he didn't go through with it. And two, he has a complete understanding, and Fox Sports 1 allowed this to happen, where it's his baby, it's his show, Undisputed, which that's what Skip Bayless wanted all along. He wanted a show, he wanted his own show. When it came to First Take, it was his baby, and yes, he referred to debate alongside Stephen A. Smith, but at the end of the day, they were partners at First Take. It wasn't Stephen A.'s show, it wasn't Skip Bayless' show, it was both of their shows, all right? With Fox Sports 1, with Undisputed and Fox Sports 1 has already made it clear that this is Skip's show. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Meaning, he has total control on who he's going to debate. He has total control on who the moderator's going to be. And I feel like when they're going to make this very PC with when Shannon Sharpe leaves Undisputed. And they're going to make it sound like, well, Undisputed, Shannon Sharpe wanted to do his future endeavors. He always loved to go independent. He's not going to sign to ESPN, which in my video last week, I assume that by them moving Max Kellerman, they probably got a deal in the work with Shannon Sharpe. Now, I sort of believe in that theory, but I don't have a lot of faith in that theory. I feel like overall, he's going to stay independent. I think he likes the freedom of doing what he wants to do, having his own show, having control of his own show. And I feel like he got a huge hit with Club Shay Shay. All right. So I can see Shannon Sharpe doing stuff like that. And I can also see a possibility of ESPN saying we could probably get Shannon Sharpe to debate Stephen A. Smith. Now, the same problems that Fox Sports 1 would have of pairing Shannon Sharpe with Skip Bayless are the same problems ESPN is going to have when you talk about the money. If Shannon Sharpe wants to make close to the same amount of money as Stephen A. Smith, I don't think that's going to fly well either. Okay? Like I said, sports entertainment, their space is oversaturated and it's becoming a niche concept. Okay? Not a lot of people are paying for these streaming packages, these satellite cable, satellite radio packages, and the convenience of listening or watching these shows on other platforms without paying that type of money. That also hurts the brand of these shows. So, I'll recap. Shannon Sharpe, if he signs back to Fox Sports 1, he's not going to make close to what Skip Bayless. And if he does, That's a huge L for him. That's a huge L for him. If he takes less, just to partner up with Skip Bayless, if he takes less, that's a huge L for him. You can't talk about Dennis Scrotum and talk about how he got an L for overplaying his hand and not understanding the market, saying that he's $100 million player, and now he's signing a 1-year deal with the Boston Celtics, and you say that's an L. But if you renegotiate with Fox Sports 1 and you and we find out you're making less than Skip Bayless, and you didn't even get close to the numbers that you were looking for, then that too will be a huge L for Shannon Sharpe, which means to me he's not going to accept anything less than, like, if he makes close to what Skip Bayless is making, he don't make the same as Skip Bayless, I can see him staying at Undisputed. But if he makes anything less than that, I just don't see it. And Shannon Sharpe is not that type of individual. And if he signs to that, that's a huge L for him. That tells me that he didn't really think this through. He didn't look at the market very well. But there's not a lot of networks that's paying that type of money. Ask Maria Taylor. Maria Taylor is a test subject for a lot of you guys. Maria Taylor thought that she was worth a lot of money. She thought she was worth she thought she was worth Stephen A. money. Now a lot of people are gonna say low key, well, she never really wanted to go to ESPN. That's why she was asking for that type of money, so she could just leave and just go elsewhere. But folks, remember, her contract was up. She didn't have to go to these extremes. She could have just easily just played out her contract and say deuces, okay, and go straight to NBC. And by the way, nobody's not talking about how much she's making at NBC. She's not making Stephen A. money. She's not making Stephen A. Smith money at NBC. Okay, you gotta realize NBC is not the same as ESPN. They don't have basketball. I think she was much better as being an analyst for basketball. You know, they don't have the NBA. But she would do some commentary on it, but they don't. They don't have all of the football, you know, even though there's football games played on NBC. But they're more into golf, track and field, college, but not the major colleges. Okay, and now with this college shakeup, now with these leagues reconfiguring on how they're going to do college football, they probably are going to be left with the scraps of the football teams nobody else wants. Okay, so is this a real win for Maria Taylor? I feel like it's a real L for Maria Taylor. Low key, she did a Dennis Scrotum. She couldn't get the money at ESPN, so she goes to NBC, and she's not even making what she wanted at ESPN. That's a huge L, in my opinion, for Maria Taylor. And I just don't see Shannon Sharpe doing that. But if he does that, goes to another network and not even making half of what he was asking for, then automatically that's a huge L for him too. But it just goes to show y'all how niche sports entertainment is. It's not as big as television shows or films. And even films and television entertainment is struggling out here in these streets. Okay? The pandemic has really affected and changed a lot of how we do things. All right? So, yeah, that's all I got for this video. Just comment below, guys. Tell me what you think. It's your boy. I'm up out of here. Sorry for it to be a long video, but I warned you guys earlier that this was going to be a long video. Deuces.